Oh, hello, hello. Yes, I see my mic is making the thing go up and down. Therefore, you could probably hear me. Hello, Demon Dreamer. Hello, Pinecone. Nice to see you here already. Y'all are ready. Uh, I'm not. It's really hot in here. I'm having iced coffee in my extremely cool skull mug. Um, it is hot. It's just the weather is hot, and it's also particularly hot in the studio. Um, I have so many fans going, and most of them are generating heat. All right, so I've got the PC that's running the build stream. I've got the 3D printer running, which is just generating heat. There's a fan that's venting off the heat. Then I've got a fan coming, bringing air in the window, and a fan on me. But of course, the thing about fans is they're only partly good at they just move heat around. They don't make things cooler. So really, in the end, you're kind of just generating heat and then pushing it places, and it's just hot. It's hot in this room. Thankfully, nothing I have planned to do on stream today is gluing, because that way I at least could have the door open a little bit. It's hot. It's very hot in here. Anyway, hi, how are you? I'm looking at, we got the PeerTube and the Owncast going. Looks like I see things. Yep, we've got people in chats in both places. Excellent. Hello, Fediverse. Nice to see you. Yeah, so I'm just gonna have some iced coffee to get warmed up here. We have a relatively easy day today. It's a short week, so I had to think of something that I could do, in a few days that would be useful. It's right, Pinecone. I could look at the skull emoji. I love this glass. This is great. It's literally like a dollar store find my wife got. This is the thing when you're goth and Halloween happens, you go to the dollar store and you just buy all the things. Because that's where we get half of our home decor is for like dollar store Halloween sales. Nice to see people here already. That's nice. I got no banter today. My brain is gone. Well, my brain is melted. That's the problem. So I hope you're not expecting snappy repartee or anything, because you ain't getting it. Who knows? After I get through all this, then the caffeine may do something. Unlikely, but I have to babysit the 3D printer. Let's see if this works. I just put this on. There we go. There's the 3D printer. It needs to be aligned, but anyway, yeah. So I'm printing off some mouth plates, but the filament is a little bit. It's not really tangled. It's just kind of snag. It gets snagged a little bit in the first batch. I let go overnight and it snagged and didn't feed the filament through, and so I had a whole batch of. Let me show you what I got. Actually, I got these. I'm printing off Sonk mouth plates, so I got these, and yeah, Slug Fan. Yes, Kevin is my name. I don't have. I should have a button that pulls up my lower third. Hang on. Let's see if this will do it. Nope, I didn't do it. Let's try. I'll go to a different camera. All right, and then I'll go back to the chat camera. There we go. There's my lower third. I should have a button that just pulls up the lower third. Anyway, so yeah, I got these. These are like very, very, very thin mouth plates. These actually would be kind of useful, except for I'm afraid they would crack because they're just PLA filament. But it's basically the first layer printed, and then nothing. It's because the filament got jammed and it wouldn't feed through. So I have all these really, really thin. I have giant guitar picks, is what I have. So who knows? Yes, Green and Blue Fur. There's a little preview of what we're doing today. So I am just doing, since it's a short week, let's make the 3D printer cam go away. It's nothing exciting. It's just printing mouth plates. But I have to keep an eye on this and babysit it to like prevent the snag. on the filament from happening. Otherwise, I have to like unspool the whole thing and then roll it back up, and it's like that's not happening. I'll just pay attention. Let that go away. So yeah, we are doing Sonks puppets. So I haven't done Sonks for a while for general sale in the shop, and I really should, because A, they're affordable. That's a good thing. They're easy to make, they're quick to make, which is why they're affordable. And they always sell well. They're always, people want these just because they're really good, like sort of starter puppets, and they're good practice puppets. They're good to give to kids because they're very rugged. And they're just a good place to sort of get your feet wet. It's a good on-ramp to other puppets. And I haven't done them in a while, so I really should get on that. So I got 4 on the docket here. Hopefully by the end of today, there will be 4 done. So those will go up on the shop. I don't know if I'm gonna do anything else this week. I might not. It's just so hot. We're waiting for the air conditioning to get turned on in the building. It's weird. There are weird laws around that. They have to keep the heat on until I think June 1st or something like that in Canada, or at least in Ontario. And the laws haven't changed for a long time. So it hasn't taken into account climate change, because the seasons have just been moving and spreading. It's hotter for earlier. And really the law's got to catch up with that, because the building literally can't turn on the air conditioning until that date. Otherwise they're in violation of a bylaw. So it's a lot. Anyway. So that blue is a very Grover blue. Let's go to the top cam. I'll show you what I got going on here. So I've already done, these are just the skins, which is most of the puppet, but these are I got a pink and the yellow one that I've already done. Whenever I do Sonks, I do them in batches of 4. I do 2 that have the blunt noses and 2 that have the long pointy noses. So there's the pink and the yellow one that are done already. And today we are doing the blue and the green. And yeah, that is a very Grovery fur, at least color-wise. Texture-wise, no. Grover is definitely boiled, and this is just out of the box. Fur out of the box. So yeah. But this is it. So the blue one's gonna have a pointy nose. Here's the pointy muzzle for the blue, and the green's gonna have a blunt muzzle. A blunt muzzle. It's my nickname in high school or something. I don't know. But anyway. I'm still drinking my coffee. We're not rushing because it's so freaking hot. And this will be plenty for this week. It's a 4-day week, so it's still 4 puppets in 4 days. So I still have a little bit of time. If I do get through this today, then I'll still have a little bit of time tomorrow and Friday. So we'll see. There may be something else. I may throw together a Greebly or a Small or something, and super quick, just to get it on the shop. Because like the last time I had stuff available, so I did a commission last week. A week before that, I did 4 puppets. I did 2 Greeblys and 2 Smalls. On the Friday, I put them up on the shop, and by Monday there were 2 puppets left. So Friday 4 puppets went up. Monday 2 puppets were left. So that's a pretty good turnaround. So the shops are not empty, but still not as much on there as I'd like. I guess that's a good thing, right? I used to get really weird and antsy about not having much on the shops, but it's kind of a good sign, right? It means people are buying the puppets. As long as I'm making the puppets, people keep buying them. So thank you, because this is all I got. So that's much appreciated. So you're probably going to actually building some puppets, but I'm really enjoying my iced coffee. So, and we're not rushing. We're actually going a bit earlier than normal. I used to start streaming at 10:30 local time, and I'm starting at 10 because that way I get done at noon and I can then have lunch on time. I'm planning ahead for a change. Let's see how the 3D printer is going. Show printer, yes. I did move the button to go live to a different screen of the Stream Deck. So I won't accidentally hit it in the middle of the stream anymore. That happened 2 weeks ago. I actually booted the stream offline by mistake because my finger slipped. Oops. How's the filament doing? It's looking pretty good. I should actually have the camera pointed at the filament rather than the print head, because that's the thing I have to keep an eye on. It is right here, like I can do this. You can see my hand. So it's right here. So, and usually you can hear it when the filament starts to kind of pull against itself. You hear a little crinkly noise, and that's when I know, oh, I gotta go and like play it out and give it some slack, as some geniuses say. Okay, enough fun. It's time for the serious puppet business. So the first thing I got to do is pin all these together, or in my case, clip all these together. This camera is really washed out. It always is. It's a little webcam. It's not very good. I'm dissing you, Logitech. I'm not the first. So all I got to do is, like I said, I've obviously already traced the pattern, cut them out. So I just got to pin these all together. So what I do, the easy way for me, is I pin or clip the muzzle. So either two halves. So I do the muzzle, sew that up, and then I put the two sides together. Do I prefer clips over pins? It depends. Pins will give you more accuracy. Clips will move around a bit more. Clips are faster though, and clips are also, like, you're not going to stick yourself with a pin, because pins are pointy and sharp and they hurt. So if I'm working with fur, I'll often use clips. If I'm working with just fleece, I'll often use pins, because fleece, of course, accuracy matters way more than with fur. With fur, it's fur. It's a big mushy bundle of stuff. So you always lose definition with fur, and so it'll hide a lot of problems. Whereas with the pins, that's when you really want things to line up. And this is the other thing is, because we're working with really thick fabrics, like if you use clips and you're doing it fur to fur, there could be a lot of drift on the machine. The thing can be like a whole inch out of alignment by the time you get to the end of it. And so you have to be prepared to deal with that. If you use pins, that's way less likely to happen. The more pins, the less likely increasingly. So the way to avoid the fabric sliding and drifting out of alignment when you're on the sewing machine is to just use a lot of pins. But that's time consuming and pointy. So I usually just clip it together and then deal with the result. It's a quick and dirty method, but it works for me. So in this case, we're going to use clips. Clips are, that songs in general, the design is very forgiving. So we don't need to worry too much about accuracy. And it also depends on, like, I'll know that, for example, I want the mouth, this is where the corner of the mouth is right here. I definitely want that to line up, but that matters less by the time I get to the end, because this is in back. So if it does, oops, I just dropped my hairdryer. If it does get out of alignment and it shifts in the back, I can just trim it off and it'll be fine. So, you know, this is one of those things where you just have to kind of play around with it, try it, and learn where you can cheat and cut corners, and not really cut corners, but learn what matters. Like, learn where you need to put your effort. And that's the kind of thing you will only get with experience. So, as I always say, you just got to do it. Got to get in there and do the thing. So there we go. I just clipped the muzzle and make sure that it's, you know, inside out, and then that's the right side. He speaks from experience. So yeah, I'm afraid it's not going to be a very exciting stream today. This is all pretty much basic stuff. But that's the nature of build streams, and just doing what I do. And Demon Dreamer, I considered getting clips because, like you said, the pins are sharper pointed. Yeah. So like I said, it's just a matter of accuracy, right? I'm a fan of clips. I like them a lot just because I'm always trying to work fast. And clips just tend to be faster. But you will lose accuracy. The fabric will drift way more. So just be aware of that and know how to compensate for that, and you'll be good. Okay, should I do the other ones first? Yeah. See, the thing is, I'm gonna do the blue one, then the green one, because I gotta change the thread, right? So it doesn't really matter what order I do this in. Just get things prepped. Oh. And depending on how quickly we get through the machine sewing, which is usually pretty quick. Oh, I heard the filament do something weird here. Here, have some. The stage after this, I'm afraid, is a lot of hand sewing, because I gotta hand sew the mouse plates in. So we may be getting into hand sewing territory. That's okay. It's a chill stream. That's the whole point. Is to be chill. Also stream. Hence the name. Okay, is that the right? Yes, that's the right one. This is the good stuff. This is the Weird Kid Police as well. And another reason I like making songs is because I can use fabric that's like scraps that are too small to do anything else with. This is just a very, this isn't a lot of fleece, but this is still the good stuff. I still want to use this, right? I don't want to throw this out. It's much better in a puppet than in a landfill, as I often say. So this is a very good use of using up pieces that are too small to do anything else with, and yet still making something, good and fun and useful out of them. So it's a waste reduction. So, let's see, I got pink thread on the machine right now, so I'm gonna switch that up. I'm gonna do the blue one first, just because the pointy nose ones are a little bit trickier. You gotta go around that big long snout. Now, I could also pin the two halves together at the same time, but that is really awkward. We come to have to do go over these lines if it's all together. So that's why I'd like to do them in separate pieces and then join them. It's just easier. And you're not really saving any time. You gotta put the two halves together no matter what, so. Okay, we're gonna do the blue one first. If we're gonna do machine sewing, you should probably get the close-up cam going. Let me get the machine in place first. And then we can position the close-up cam. I should just call it the sewing cam. Actually, we use it for a lot more than sewing. So let's see, go to here. Oh, that's a good shot. Look at that. Move this over here. Do you have any local fabric dealers that I go to for fur? No. This is a huge problem for me. There are precisely 0 local sources. Like when I say local, I mean like domestic, like in Canada. In all of Canada, there are no sources that I have found for faux fur. So every time I get faux fur, I have to import it. I usually get it from Fabric Empire. And that has over time become increasingly more expensive. I tell a lie, there is some faux fur that I can get locally from a store called Fabricville. But it's very, very limited. It's this faux yak fur that is, they only have like a couple of colors. They've got a blue and a purple that are very muted. I like them a lot, actually. I use them a lot. I can pull it out here, but it's underneath a bunch of pile of stuff. If you've seen my stuff before, it's the fur that's very sort of, has a slight curl, like a crinkly, crimpy texture to it. I'm trying to think if I've used it. No, I haven't used any characters on the show. I've built a lot of puppets. Most of the puppets that you see that are blue or dark wine purple, this is the stuff that I can get locally. And even then, it's not cheap. But it's still cheaper than importing it from the States. Because the duty and exchange, import fees, and shipping and all that stuff, there's brokerage on the shipping because it's imported. There's a whole, like, I could literally triple the cost for me from the sticker price. So that's a problem, and I don't think it's solvable. It's not until we get some domestic Canadian sources or I just move, which is neither of which are likely to happen. So it's just a reality of how I gotta do things. So unfortunately, no, Demon Dreamer, I do not have any local sources for most of the fur that I use, which is a bummer. Okay, what's this angle here? Where should we go for this? Let's see. Wish I could make this a bit lower. Can I make it a bit lower? Only a little. Like that. We kind of want, because we want to see it, because it's going to be coming out this way, so. Now, probably going to have to refill this bobbin. We're going to run out at some point. We'll see. We shall see. And I got to get some blue thread. That's the other thing. I'm running low on a lot of colors of thread. I really got to get some more. I usually try and buy like the packs because I just go through so many colors. It's just more economical. I know I said this a number of times before, but one of the places you should get the good stuff and spend the money is on thread. Thread quality matters a lot. And if it's a brand name that you may or may not have recognized, but it's like if you know, Coates and Clark, Guterman. This is Guterman. Any of those big brand names will be fine. But if it's some like bulk thing on Amazon that you've never heard of before, that's the stuff you don't want. I know it's tempting because you can get like 1,000 colors for $10, but it will snag, it will be very low quality. You will have a bad time if you get cheap thread. Ask me how I know. Okay, threading machine. Where are my trim scissors? Oh yeah, Canada shipping fees are like, it depends on what you do, right? Like from even retail, it's not great, but like, it's really the import fees, like the duty, because there's not just duty. Particularly depending on how it's shipped, which sometimes I don't have any control over. You need a brokerage to process the import fees, and that's where the shipping companies slip in their little slice of the pie, which turns out is a lot. It's just so much. It's not good. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it. It's just the way it works. Why is this being weird? This is being weird. Why are you weird? Okay, there you go. Hi, Joe. With fur, I've grown to love upholstery threads. I've never used upholstery thread on fur. I have some. I'd use it for like cosmetic stuff, for like doing when I did the Frankenstein last year. I use upholstery thread for the stitches, so you can see them because it's good and thick and strong, right? Interesting thought. Okay. Blue Sonk. Blue Sonk muzzle. Sounds like a good good blues band. Welcome to the stage, Blue Sonk muzzle. Nice twangy guitar. Okay, is that visible? Not really, of course. The fur is just getting all in the way. All right, maybe we can move this to the other side. Let's see. If we move this over here. Oh, is there enough cable? No. Is everything going wrong? Yes. Let's try that. We'll see if it goes. Does the full fur weight cause additional fees? It can. That's really a shipping, like the base shipping cost. It depends on, yes, that's always a factor. But not as much because it's fabric, so it doesn't weigh that much. It's volume, it's the size of the box, right? I should probably lower the foot. Yeah, I wish I could find a solution. There's no good. There's no good solution that I've found. Believe me, I've looked. What I have to do is interface with like Tom Stewart or somebody else who's also in Canada. Let's see what they do. Get a little institutional knowledge going. All right, there's one muzzle. Did I just move the camera? I did. I gotta get a little more slack on these cables. Now this is tricky because I want to start on this end because that's where the mouth is, but that means that I'm pushing it through the opposite direction it really should go, but we'll see. Let's see if we can fudge it. I'm good at fudging it. I've had a lot of fudging practice. Insert your own joke here. All right, how's this gonna go? This is gonna go terribly. I'm gonna break a needle or something, guaranteed. I'm doing the opposite of what you should do. The fabric should be going out this way, not this way, but you know, if you're careful, you can do it. Okay, so now we've got the muzzles sewn in. I'm going to trim off the excess. And then we're going to clip the two halves together. Might as well go. through the face cam here while I do that. Since I'm looking at a picture of my sewing machine. So I'm just trimming off the seam allowance here. There we go. There's our half of the sunk. Same on the other side. I should drink my iced coffee before the ice completely melts and waters it down. Thanks, Stevie Dreamer. Enjoy your grocery pickup. It must be a bit confusing for people watching the VOD on PeerTube because it doesn't embed the chat. So I should. This is, once again, this is still the problem. It's like if I were to embed chat in the video, right? Because I'm literally have to monitor 3 different chat sources, there would just be like just text all over the screen, and it wouldn't look good. On the other hand, it will be good for the VODs because the people will actually be able to read the chat. So I don't know. I don't know. There's got to be some kind of clever solution, but I'm not smart enough to figure it out. So. Okay. So I gotta take, now that we've got those trimmed up, take this half and this half and make the 2 halves one. It's very romantic. And I am going to use clips for that too. The place where accuracy matters on a sonk, for this design, is of course the point at which the fleece and the fur meet, right? So right at the corner, this defines the corner of the mouth. So this is where you want to get your detail down. And even though this part doesn't get sewn together because this is the mouth, I do clip them together just to keep them aligned and keep it all tidy. So when you are pinning or clipping fur together, I know we've been through all this stuff time and time and again, but it's always good to go over the fundamentals. Oh, you know what? The close-up cam will be good for this. Let me move this over and show you. So when we've got the 2 halves of fur here. All right, and we're clipping them together. You always want to push the fur down into the seam. So we don't want the fur like all sticking up like that, right? Because when we sew this together, that means this fur is going to be all caught in the seam, and it won't look good, and also won't sew well. So you want to take it and you want to push. Well, you can see you want to push the fur down into the seam. Just think about how you want it to lay when it's sewn together, right? You wouldn't want it sticking out inside the puppet, as it were. So once you've got that, you clip it. So you kind of gotta brush it down quite a bit. And just work your way down. This principle also works on if you've got some very thick fleece as well, because fleece is, it's a bunch of fibers stuck into a netting, so you can treat it like very short fur. Right, so that's what you want it to look like. You don't want the fur all sticking up out. So like that. Let's kind of fold it. There we go. And like, don't be afraid to use a lot. The more you use, the more accurate it'll be. There are some places to cut corners. There are some places to not cut corners. This is one of the places that you probably don't want to cut corners. What I'll often do to try and help it align a bit more is once I've got a few in, I'll go to the very bottom where it's supposed to line up and clip that. And then I'll kind of work my way towards the middle. Because very rarely are these going to line up perfectly. And this is a way to kind of compensate for that. So then I'll try and find the middle of where those two are. And you're going to have a little bit of bulging, and you're going to have a little bit of that's all right. That'll sort itself out on the machine. Not too much. You don't want to fold it, right? But a little bit. I mean, there's really no way around that unless you like use a laser cutter and do this with, micrometer accuracy. Then it's a soft material. It's going to move. It's going to stretch. It's going to shift. And you just have to be prepared for that and know how to deal with it. Thankfully, as I said, fur, very forgiving. And part of the whole, learning the ropes is learning what those tolerances are and knowing where you need to pay attention and where you can be a bit less fussy about it. So there we go. There's our one side clip together. Use a lot of clips. Use a lot of clips on this. I haven't even done the fleece yet. This is just the fur. Fur takes longer because you got to comb it down into the seam. Do, 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 do. I tell you, it's going to be a happy day when they turn the air conditioning on in the building. It's not often you go to the gym to keep cool, but the gym here is in the one of the parking garages, so it's like a sub basement, so it's nice and cool down there. I just go and bring my Steam Deck. It's, Valve, why did you do that? Bring my Steam Deck and eat a sandwich. Oh, I can hear the filament being weird. Stop being weird, filament. There we go. I really need more long form, amusing video to watch while I'm in the gym. It really helps pass the time because I just do a sort of half walk, half jog on the treadmill, and I try and do an hour. Often am not, don't quite get to an hour, but if I've got an hour-long video to watch, it's much easier to get to an hour than if I'm, for some reason it's watching. I can't listen to a podcast doesn't do it. Okay, so there's the fur all clipped up. And now it's into the fleece. And then we go back to the machine. Ugh, excuse me. Need more coffee. So where the accuracy matters on the muzzle is right here. This is the point. This is like the tip of the mouth plate. Right, so this is where the two halves of the mouth join. This is where you want to keep it nicely aligned. So that's why we're gonna put the first clip on there. And then at the end of the nose, if this is off a little bit, that won't matter. So music helps me, but it has to be high energy, fast tempo music. Yes. I have recently discovered one of my favorite new bands called Bridge City Sinners. And they are, now stay with me here, genre-wise, they're very interesting. They're basically goth, slightly satanic bluegrass. And it's kind of amazing. And it's a real trip. And very high energy, very, what's a good... And I did listen to one of their new tracks in the gym, and it was like, yeah, this is working for me. I like the phrase "slightly satanic." That's pretty good, huh? Like I'm an old goth. You could take the goth out of the club, but you can't take the club out of the goth. Okay, we are almost ready to get back on the machine. Here we go. Let's try and get the camera in a more helpful place. I could always just move the machine too, Kevin. You know, that's a thing you could do. Let's see. Let's try that. I don't know. Getting an angle for the camera on the sewing machine is weird and unintuitive. So the problem with this is, let's go a better camera for this. Right, because we're going around a corner, right? Where to start it so you end up in a place where the fabric isn't getting all bunched up is the challenge. So you kind of got to think weird and opposite. So I want to end up like this. So I have to start out like this. Well, I put a bunch of clips where I didn't need them. I put them on the mouth here. Because I was talking and not paying attention, you see. Anyway. Let's try this. Let's see if this is going to do the trick. Okay. I think I did this the opposite. Oh well. It'll be fine. If I can't compensate for something like this, then I shouldn't be calling myself a pro puppet builder. All right, so when we get to the end, sink the needle, lift the foot, turn it. Yeah, see, I've got the opposite side. Oh well. Oh well, it'll be fine. Now I've got Bridge City Center stuck in my head. I will not sing some of the lyrics because they're definitely not family friendly. Oh, easy there, Tiger. All right, now the fun part where we get to go over the two types of fabric. We're going over a seam here, so that can get a little bit dicey, but let's go slow. It always makes a big banging noise that I really don't like. Makes me nervous. Okay, I think we're past the danger zone here. This machine really likes to break needles, so that's why I'm nervous. Yeah, it's the machine, Kevin. It's the machine that likes to break the needles. Nothing I'm doing. And so yes, more pins or clips means you have to stop more off it and take them out, but that's okay. It's worth it. Okay. That's one side. Oh no! I knew it, the bobbin ran out. How far? Oh, not that far. Okay, we're all right. I'm gonna have to do a bit of this over again because it's hard to see. The bobbin ran out. I gotta sew up that bit again. But first, I have to rethread the bobbin. So let's just do that. I knew that was gonna happen. See, didn't I say, oh, this bobbin's gonna run out? I should listen to myself more often. Why start now? Ooh, this bobbin's got a crack in it. Maybe I shouldn't use it. No. Too late now. Let's just roll your dice, take your chances. All right. That bobbin won't run out anytime soon. Just trim it up. And thread the machine. I remember when I first started learning how to use a sewing machine, I was so baffled by the threading process. If you're new, you probably are too. And now it's just second nature. It's like I don't even think about it. So it's possible. You could get there. It really is just practice. Once you kind of understand what's going on the machine, it's not... I think the problem is most people try and learn by just copying a step-by-step instruction, and that's not really learning. That's just copying a step-by-step instruction. You have to, like, kind of understand the underlying mechanics of what's going on. Okay, here we go. So this one's much easier because we're not going around a quarter, so we can try and get it right from the first get-go. Oh wait, we should go back to the coalesce up here. There we go. Joe Weatherford, I received a sewing machine for my friend's grandmother. Still scared to touch it. Yeah. Oh, well, you know, but here's the thing. A lot of those old sewing machines are fantastic and they last forever. And really the underlying technology in a sewing machine hasn't changed for like hundreds of years. It's amazing what these things, like the engineering that's gone into these things is phenomenal. It's a matter of like getting it right from the first, and so you don't need to improve on it. But don't be afraid. That's the thing, right? I mean, I understand because it's an old thing. Maybe you don't know, because there is quite a lot of violence, I guess. Like it's very vigorous. The thing that it does has a lot of force to it. So I totally understand that. But it's well worth learning. I could never run my business if I didn't have a sewing machine. And hello, Ann. Have you ever sold at craft shows? I have not, but I've thought about it. For a while, things were really slow, so I was looking at like potentially doing stuff like that. Just selling like in person locally. And it still may be on the table. We'll see. I have a couple of places that I could possibly... There's like sort of artist markets and stuff like that that are around that I think might be good for that. But I have not. No. As of yet, it's only been online sales. One person I know who does do a lot of craft shows is Travis from Making Friends Puppets, who does show up in the chat every now and then. Travis does a lot of craft shows. I think that would be fun just to sort of get out and actually meet people in the flesh, you know? Okay. Voila. That's the blue sock is effectively this part of it is done. Oh, I did not end up sewing up that other part that I needed to sew up again. Let's do that before we put it away. Joe, do you know David Stevens? He uses an antique sewing, but the name is very familiar. I'm sure I do. It's just not pinging in my brain. Yes, the name David Stevens is in the database somewhere. I just can't place it. But yeah, I know there's a couturier in New Orleans who I very much like, Bo Shui Shui. I get a lot of my bow ties from him. His name is Edward, and he uses an antique sewing machine, and it's beautiful. It is, and it's still the job it does is fantastic. Old things are useful. This is the lesson. I gotta cling to that one. And there's a real cachet about using an antique sewing machine, right? It's got a history. It's got, you know... It's just nice. It feels nice. It's heritage. Of course, for a lot of what I do, this is a heavy-duty sewing machine, and I really need it because I'm going through, like, heavy-duty fabrics, right? So that is a factor. So I guess we could go here now. So yeah, that's done. And so now all I gotta do is trim off the seam allowance, which I will now do. And then we're gonna do the green one. So exactly the same thing we just did. We're gonna do it again, as that's how puppets are made. Trimming off the seam allowance, doo-dah, doo-dah. Honestly, I just remembered, don't sing that, because the origins of the Camptown Races song is extremely racist and not good. It is tied in with, like, history of minstrel shows and that whole very ugly situation. I know, this is the problem with learning history, is it does ruin a lot of things for you. But it also makes you aware of a lot of things, so knowing things is always better than not knowing things. Even if it doesn't make you happy. Okay. That's one seam allowance. Always be careful when you're trimming off a seam allowance, because you do not want to cut your stitches. Hello, is that Noel? It's the text of your name on the Twitch thing on my chat is such a odd color. It's like a purple on blue. Because I'm using Restream chat, it's hard to read. Nocky, Nocci, Nocky North. Yes, hello, thank you. Nice to see you in the Fediverse. We love the Fediverse around here. One of the last places left online where it's mostly actual humans. Okay, there we go. So our seam allowances are trimmed off, and this is ready to have the mouth plate sewn in. But before we get there, we gotta do the green one. So that means I gotta switch up the. Look at this camera. I got fur on my nose. Switch up the blue thread for some green thread. Let's see what color green this is. I have lots of green threads. Fortunately, the ones I do have are all kind of the same. What is this? So it's a little too light. Forgive my extreme close-up here. I forgot the camera's right here. Not a lot of that. I'm gonna see if I have some better green for this. I may have to just deal with it. Oh wait, here's this. Much better. There we go. Okay. We gotta get a bobbin. Yeah, at least the nice humans will survive in the Fediverse. Yeah. what's funny, I'm seeing a lot of talk lately about like, the indie web and largely because of the whole huge push to quote unquote AI. And people are talking about like, oh, remember the internet back when it was good? Back before it was, giant, like four giant corporations that owned all social media and, just people talking to people. I'm like, it's still there. It's happening already. It's all in the Fediverse, all of the ActivityPub based stuff. That's what that is. It's like the internet when it was good. And it can be that again. It's just sitting there waiting for you. I'm evangelizing again. I really should stop that. I'm not saying it's utopia. There are still problems, but it's a heck of a lot better than the alternative. And like for my purposes, one of the reasons I do run like the Owncast and the PeerTube server, stuff like that, is just because I own it, right? Like it's my thing. If YouTube ever decided, oh, we're going to start charging you tons of money or whatever to stream, or to like, here's your archives, if you give us money, or whatever they decide to do. Like the thing is, like, if I don't own the platform, I don't own my quote unquote content. And that's unacceptable to somebody who makes their living as, a creative outlet. I need to be able to have control over my stuff. So owning the servers that it lives on is important. So even if YouTube ever decides to go away or to like charge a ridiculous amount of money for the thing, whatever, it won't matter to me because I will still own a server that I can do all this stuff on. So yes, see, Doki's got it. Doki knows. But that's it, right? It is about seizing the means of production. Here we go. We're just getting it. We're right into the Communist Manifesto. No hesitation. It kind of is that though, right? Like it is about controlling your own destiny. And it is possible. You can do it, and it's all there available. If an idiot like me can figure it out, you can too. That's really why I evangelize, is just because like I'm nothing special. I didn't, I figured this stuff out. Anybody can. Learning is fun. I should switch cameras. He gets on his soapbox again and suddenly forgetting to switch cameras. Okay. Of course, the flip side of that whole thing is like it makes me feel a little bit like a prepper, like a digital prepper. It's like, when society finally crumbles, they're going to be coming to me. I'm going to have the only farm on the block. Owncast is super easy to set up. It's one of the simplest tasks compared to other platforms in the Fediverse. Yeah, absolutely. Owncast is fantastic. Shout out Gabe, the developer. Owncast definitely was. Of all of the things I've set up, Owncast was by far the easiest. Okay. So, trimming off the seam allowance. And then we got to clip the two halves together and sew them up as normal. Come to where the flavor is. Come to the Fediverse. One thing I want to do for a future stream here. So the way this stream is currently set up, I'm a little bit nervous because the machine here in the studio is running Linux, of course, because he's one of them. But I'm a little bit nervous about the load because there's a lot going on here with all the cameras, and there's a lot of bandwidth being used up, just like, you know, a PCIe bus bandwidth. So I'm not actually streaming from this computer. This computer is has an NDI stream that goes out, and then my Mac Studio in the office is picking up that NDI stream, and that's the one that's actually doing the streaming. So I'm splitting the load right between them, which feels to me a bit safer than having one computer do it all. But one day I am going to try it because I'm a little bit nervous about the there's a multi-RTMP plugin that will, so I can stream to multiple endpoints, right? Basically accomplishes what Restream does, but for custom sources. So for TierTube and Owncast. So right now I'm streaming to 3 different endpoints. I'm streaming to Restream, which handles Twitch and YouTube. And then I'm also separately streaming to Owncast and PeerTube. And that's all that the OBS in the office is doing. It's just taking the video and audio from this computer and streaming it to those 3 endpoints. But I would like to try to do it with just this computer, but the plugin that handles the multi-RTMP stuff is written by an individual who's not super Linux fluent. So I'm a little bit worried it might get crashy on, like, there is a Linux version, but I'm a little bit concerned that it might get crashy. Now the Mac version has been okay. It crashes occasionally, but never when I'm actually streaming, only when I'm like changing sources and stuff. So setting stuff up, but when I'm actually streaming, it's always been fine. So I don't know. One day we may try a little experiment, and then I'll just have the other thing as a backup in case. Maybe we'll do that next week. Come to watch the stream crash. We will see. We're just over an hour into the stream. It's not very exciting, but hey, that's the nature of build streams. I'm just doing my thing. I still don't know what I'm going to build next week yet. So this is probably it. It's going to be realistic. This is probably it for this week. I've been wanting to build another eyebrow mech rod arm monster for a while now. I think that might be next week. We shall see. It's a little hot. It's hot in this room. Thing is, this is the room I have to work in. Like, of all of the rooms in our apartment, this is the one that always gets the hottest. Even before it was my shop. It's just a little tiny room. It's like in the middle. So, there's just not a lot you can do to cool it down. C'est la vie. Oh, right. I have thought of something I want to do. So, one of the things that I've been kind of struggling with lately is it's been forever since I actually puppeteered. I think the Oracle episode that introduced Murray 2.0 months ago is the last time I puppeteered anything. And that's not good. I want to keep my hand in. Hey, get it? It's a puppet joke. I want to keep it practice because you really do need to practice to maintain your skills. But the problem, of course, is because the stuff I do, like the Oracle show, is there's a lot of work that goes into it. And I've just been in a writing slump. The ideas are not coming. And that's actually the hardest part of the Oracle. Shooting it and editing it is relatively straightforward. Not necessarily quick, but not difficult, just time consuming. But it's writing. It's the writing that takes the longest. I got to think of a thing I like and try and make it funny and then perform it, right? There's a lot to that. So even like a little 5-minute episode or something, there's a lot that goes into that. But I want to like get my characters, as I love my characters, and I want to get them out there just more. So the thing I've been thinking about doing is actually like a couple of times a week, maybe, of just doing a vlog, just like a little short, a few minutes in the morning, totally unscripted, and just like chatting, like just talking about what the plans are for the week, or like something that caught my attention in the news or whatever, but just do it as a different character every time, right? So one thing, Frankie's going to tell you about what's going on in Operation Puppet this week. And the time the Oracle will come on and talk about some piece of tech news or something like this, something will come up, and I don't have to script it. I can just ad lib and improv the thing. And that way the characters will always be there. It'll be a little quick thing that you can just that shows up in your feed, and it'll be a fun, hopefully amusing little chuckle in the morning kind of thing. And it'll be quick to edit. It'll be super crude. And the irony is, of course, this is the kind of thing that will be perfect for TikTok. And I abandoned TikTok, so maybe I'll unabandon TikTok. That's unlikely. But hey, speaking of the Fediverse, isn't Pixel Fed, I think, is doing something TikTok-ish with their new thing, so who knows? But that's something that's probably coming up. It's a little couple of times a week, a little vlog. It's just a couple of minutes of just unscripted whatever, just for fun, just to literally keep my hand in. The world needs more Frankie and the Oracle and Murray, and I don't know about Gus, but we'll see. Gus doesn't work here anymore, Anyway. So hopefully look forward to that at some point. Quite soon. I want to do this real soon. Okay. This one. Okay, yeah. So we got to start out on the wrong side so to end up on the right side, which is a moral lesson about life. Or something. I don't know. This is ugly and awkward. Okay. Did I do this? I did this wrong again. Okay, we haven't actually started sewing. Let's try to do it right. Like this, Kevin, like this. You know this. You've done this before. There. That's the correct direction. I'm having to stop and lift the foot every now and then because it's a little too close to the edge and it keeps going over. So I just want to make sure we don't go too far. No, you can see the filament getting weird again. Oh, I can't wait to be done this roll. We're almost done. Oh wait, if we need to look at the printer, we're almost finished. You can't really see it. Oh well. That's one of the mouth plate sets for these puppets. All right, after we're done this, I think we may end the stream. We've been going for an hour and almost 20 minutes, which isn't bad. I usually try and go for 2 hours, but honestly, after this, it's all me hand sewing. And this, who wants to watch that? I'm out of banter. If you got any questions, by all means, this is a good time. I'm happy to sit around and answer questions. But honestly, all I want to do right now is just crank up the fans and take my shirt off, and that's not the kind of stream we're doing, ever. It's for the OnlyFans puppet Patreon. Kidding, I'm kidding, it's a joke. All right, so that's that side. And all right, there we go. The skins of two. Oh no! It happened again. I ran out of bobbin. I thought this thing was full. Oh well. We're not quite done. Once again, the revenge of the bobbin. Oops. Okay. Rethreading the machine. Yeah, this thing has a little like threader thing. I never use it. I figure by the time it gets to the point where my eyesight's bad enough that I can't thread a needle, that's when I retire. That's the sign. The 3D printer is finished. Let's see. Things got a bit weird halfway through with the filament. It got a bit misaligned. Probably because it was, oh yeah. Oh boy, everything went terrible. Did everything go over? Well, this might still be usable. Wow, this sure is something. See, the filament snagged and then one of the layers got misaligned. Oh boy. Is this actually still usable? Okay, I can still use this. But ugh, it's a bit ugly. Thankfully, it's all internal. It won't matter. All this needs to do is supply some rigidity to the mouth plate, so it doesn't really matter what it looks like. Still, this filament has been a pain. Oh, I may have to reprint this one. Yeah, this one's unusable. Hey, a failed 3D print live on camera. Oh well. Wouldn't be the first time. Let's just fix this one scene, but then I should probably stop streaming because clearly the fates are sending me a message. Give up while you're behind. It's PLA filament Pinecone, which is normally fine. It's just that it's a bit snagged on the roll. It's not really tangled. It's just one bit got underneath another bit. And to fix that, you actually literally have to unroll the entire thing and roll it back up. And it's quite fresh. So that would be a huge problem. And I'd rather just babysit it. The problem is I was streaming when I should have been babysitting it and I missed it a couple times and it just got misaligned. One of them things. I just got lucky yesterday. I printed a whole batch of, I printed 4 pairs of eyes for these puppets with this roll, and it all went fine. I thought I was out of the woods, but nope. That would have been a problem if it went wrong. This is only about an hour's worth of printing. That was like 10 hours. So. Okay, you know what? We're good. We are good. We are all sewn up. So I'm gonna trim off the thing, and then I gotta do a bunch of hand sewing. So I think we're probably, it's 11:26, that's an hour and a half-ish. That's not bad. Yeah, we're probably gonna call it there. Thank you everybody for joining me as always. Let me think, news. So yeah, the vlogs will be starting soonish. Look, I'm also out of coffee, so this is a really good time to go. So yeah, I'm not gonna say daily because that's not going to happen, but I'm aiming for maybe 2 times a week. I'll do a little quick vlog with one of the characters, maybe even sometimes just me. But yeah, and it's just gonna be like, here's what we got going on, here's what's planned for the day, here's what the schedules are, here's if there's gonna be a build stream, here's their, oh, news. The podcast should have been happening this weekend. Scheduling conflict happened, so we've just pushed it ahead a week. So it'll be next week. However, I am planning on doing a bunch of Frankie Play streaming this weekend, so we'll look forward to that. It's either going to be Destiny 2 or Diablo 4, depending on what my mood is, I guess, and depending on what Frankie's mood is. Yes, thank you, Pinecone. Yeah, the vlogs are going to be fun. I think they'll probably be short enough for YouTube to consider them shorts. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to freeform it. I'm just going to wing it. Totally unscripted. So we'll just see how it goes, and then I'll just try and fix it in the edit if possible. But the whole goal is that I can be able to just bang them out quickly, have them be fun and yet not labor intensive. That's the whole key. So anyway, there's that. This weekend we'll be doing some Frankie Play. So if you want some video game streaming from a VTuber guy. Speaking of Frankie Play, hopefully by this weekend there should be a little addition to the Frankie VTuber avatar, which will be fun. You'll see. I'm not going to spill the beans just yet, but thank you, Fozzie on Owncast. Yeah. Anyway, this is it. I'm bad at saying goodbye. I'm very sentimental. It's hard to say goodbye. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I haven't fixed the text on the buttons, so I'm gonna hit the button. It's gonna be the wrong text, and I'm gonna hit it again. It'll be the right text. Have a good day, everybody. Hopefully we'll see you this weekend at Frankie Play, and if not, next week will be another build stream, so we will see you then. Have a good weekend.